Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Apex Online Racing GT3 Series, and it is Season 17. I think I've been here since Season 8, so 9 seasons under my belt now, but that is nothing into comparison to some of the drivers with us again this evening. And speaking of some of the big drivers with us this evening, Aidan Walsingham back again to try and hold on to his championship. It was a tight battle last time round, but Valentine Barrier not here to defend. So we'll have to see how it goes this time round. But thank you very much for joining us again here for Season 17. And obviously Apex Online Racing is now solely brought to you by our patrons. So do feel free to sign up to the Patreon if you feel like it. If not, just join the Discord, join the community, and just, get involved with us all. We're a lovely bunch of people. But qualifying has just begun. It was slightly delayed, but we are now in amongst the thick of it. Trying to see which car is first out on track. I think that is car number 28 of Michael Thomas. Yes, it is. And in fact, he is about to start his first flying lap. So let's have a bit of a look and see how this is going to go for them. So now foot to the floor, up to turn one, swings the car in, down towards Magnus and Beckett. Is there going to be a touch of the brakes here before he throws it into the first left-hander? I don't think so. Nicely done through there, keeps it clean, rolls on the throttle using as much exit curve as possible before heading down the back straight. Has always historically gone quite well here. Lots of curb usage. Keeps it nice and tidy. A little bit wide there. I think he just about kept it within the guidelines though. So Michael Thomas will be the driver setting the benchmark here. Now do let us know in the chat who you think is going to win the championship this time round. Is it going to be Aidan Walsingham again? We're going to see a fresh face here to Apex Online Racing. God, doing a great job of getting the car to switch direction there. Throws it into the slow section of the circuit. We're trying to roll on the throttle. The idea is you don't really want to lift, you just want to be continuously foot to the floor. Clip this left-hand apex. Runs all the way to the right using as much of the exit curve as he possibly can without getting out onto the grass. Now running down towards the penultimate turn. I imagine we're going to see some big changes of positions here. This lovely double apex section for rolling on the throttle and trying to get as best a run as he possibly can. Goes pretty wide out there on the exit though. Takes a big chunk off the inside. Can he roll it all the way to the line? What is the benchmark going to be? It's a 1:57.3. And now the times are going to start rolling in for us. There we go, and Aidan Walsingham, our defending champion, has now put himself up into pole position. Although, here we go, Giardier. And Giardier, running of all things, is running a Honda. Did not expect that at all. He has set a 1:57.1. Let's see if we can get... There we go, on the dashboard. Honda NSX screaming its guts out. slowly in the car view as he comes absolutely hammering along now. Back down at Wellington Straight towards Brooklands and Luffield. These corners where you really want to try and get on the power as quick as possible, but you want to make sure you don't wash out too wide, and now they'll be absolutely flat to the line. What can he do here? Is it going to be any kind of improvement? I think it's pretty much the same as it was last time. No improvement there. Someone is on an improvement there. Angus Fender, who is at the beginning of his lap. Getting it absolutely everything through Maggots and Beckett's. Gets on the brakes, throws it into Stowe. This is another Honda driver here as well this evening. Good to see the Hondas making a nice little comeback. And that is, of course, due to the custom BOP, the balance of performance, as used in real-life GT3 racing. We have our own custom one here at Apex Online Racing, meaning that some of these slightly, sort of, you know, obviously older cars, hence there's a couple of Bentleys kicking around and stuff, meaning that some of these cars do have an opportunity to still have some time in the limelight. It equals everyone out a little bit better than the in-game engine does a job of doing it. It's very nice to see a nice variation of vehicles hammering it around it. Aidan Walsingham still holding on to pole position at the moment. Big improvement here from Angus Fender, though, coming towards the end of his lap. Only a few corners left to go. It'd be very interesting to see just how this looks for him at the end of it. Still up on his lap, but everyone in front of him is improving as well. He's absolutely pinned to the line. I think that might have been a little bit too much of a cut, though. That might have dirtied that lap. And it did. Oh, no, it didn't. Did it? Yes, I think it did for a brief moment, but then maybe it's my timing screen throwing a brief wobble. But there we go. He is into second place now. He'll be very, very pleased with that. So drivers still out there improving. Theo Naldi. That absolutely fantastic looking Ford Mustang. It is such a brilliant looking GT3 car. Absolutely ginormous, comes across the line. He's up on his lap time. This isn't going to be enough for pole, but it is enough for third place. Second row on the grid is nothing to be sniffed at. That's a decent old run. Now we're going to the most confusing driver in the entire series. This is Joe McLaren in the Ferrari, which every single time I see this name, it will confuse me all the way through the season. It has to happen. Currently running in 13th place, but he is 0.4 up on his lap time, so this should see him fairly well up the order. Final corner, guns it towards the line. What are we going to see here? He's half a second up on his lap, up into 5th place. Massive jump up the order. He'll be very, very pleased with that and decides that that is him done there. Chris Vining coming across the line, was in 39th. And no improvement that time round. It was up on his lap, but it must have been a invalidated lap, sadly. Who have we got that is on a flyer? Josh Waring on a bit of a flyer. Another driver taking on the new Mustang. Oh, he's managed to fit a set of... for a moment, I thought it was yellow fog lights, but it actually appears to be Varelli. But car number 34, no team to this one. He is all on his lonesome, is Josh Waring. So it's Waring, isn't it? I do apologise. Every time I read this, I say it wrong at the beginning of the season, but it is Josh Waring. Currently running in 15th place. He is up on his lap time. Nobody else is really out there improving, although Michael Thomas, currently in 7th place, is on a big, big improvement. Let's have a little jump and just see whereabouts Michael Thomas is on the circuit. He is slightly further ahead, so we are going to stick with him for just a minute or two here. Michael Thomas, Beechstein Racing, AMR. Still improving ever so slightly. It's not a massive improvement, but any improvement is an improvement. 0.2 up on his lap. Foot flat to the floor. One last run to the line. He's going to get a few more laps in. Just under 4 minutes of qualifying left. And where does this put him? He stays in 6th place for now. Walter Billen, driver on a big improvement here. Was 0.3 up on his lap until just a moment ago. I think the commentator's curse may have got him on that one. But running in 13th place, he'll be pretty pleased with that. Back with Josh Waring. We catch him wringing the neck out of the Ford Mustang, giving it absolutely everything he can. Finds himself in 9th place. Nice position. Niku Kumpu. Running in that lovely 256 Rebound Racing NSX. Proper smart bit of kit, that car. Up into 14th place. Back on board with Walter Billen. Back, we're going to jump on someone who was on an absolute mega lap. So this is Ronan Savage. Kind of 801, that lovely, lovely Lamborghini Huracan, who is 0.7 up on his lap still. So this should see a fairly decent improvement on his time. He should jump up a fair few. He is 1.8 off the leader at the moment. But we'll keep a little eye. He's now a second up on his lap. This should see him up into the 20s, I think, sort of mid-20s if this is a clean lap. Still going, up at a 28th. Nice, big improvement. There we go. Josh Waring again, trying to push. Or kind of a 22 we just saw jump into the pits. Someone else on an improvement though. We will have a quick look at them. Well, no, we won't, because they've now abandoned that one. Who's on a good, nice? Who's on a really good, fast lap? Here we go. Oh, that was a slightly unorthodox line. We'll say that for now, shall we? For Vinogradov in the F1 memes GTR. Yeah, I think that is probably the meme car, isn't it? Really, at the moment, is the GTR. Pretty sure this is an invalidated lap, to be honest. I'm pretty sure just as we jumped to them that they were going miles off the circuit. So we're going to jump on board with Noel Jorge, Project 91, in the brightest Lamborghini we are going to see on the circuit today, I would imagine. So if anything does sound a little bit out of the ordinary, do let me know. It might be a case I need to have a little bit of a fiddle with the settings. The annoying side of replacing both SSDs on the computer is that I lost every setting I possibly had. So if in the chat you want to let me know that something seemed a little bit wrong, I did just see someone there, King Phoenix. But yeah, do let me know if anything needs adjusting. I have just maybe tweaked the sounds a little bit, so hopefully my voice should come through a little bit clearer than the cars. Well, there we go, and abandons the lap. Right. Levchenko in the hard attack Ferrari. Car number 11, running in 23rd place at the moment. Decent improvement from this driver, though. 0.3 up on the lap, so should be a decent run. Oh, saying that, yes, up in the 13th place. That was a very unorthodox run across the line, but there we go. It seemed to work for them. Someone who is still pushing absolutely to the limit is Aidan Walsingham, still out there in the Veloce 2024 Aston Martin. Seeing if he can just get that little bit more. He's already in pole position. Obviously, long-time friend Jardier just behind him, and by an absolute fraction. But Jards is also still out there lapping and trying to make improvements. So we're going to stick with Aidan for the minute. no improvement at the moment on the timing screens. It might be so fractional that it's not even going to show up on the screens. We will have to wait and see as he comes across the line. He's still pushing. He hasn't abandoned it, so he obviously still thinks there might be a tiny fraction of time available to him. And it is a 1:56.5. He comes across the line. Giardier in second place. We're going to jump on board with him. Kind of a 9 as well of Angus Fender, who is much, much closer to the end of his lap. We'll jump on board. He is an... Oh! And just took a little bit too much of the inside. Ends up clipping the inside wall. He was trying to go just as quick. Almost the same there for Giardier. Almost clipped it. And stays in second place. And I think that is pretty much everyone out there. Joe Dorber for Rebound Racing, the 777 car, is on a fairly decent improvement. Is in 26th. What can they do? Is he going to avoid the wall? Just avoids the wall again. Gets himself up into 23rd place. Ooh, so there we go. Season 17, the opening round of qualifying. It has begun and it is all very much underway. And so we will run through the grid order in just a moment. But it is going to be some seriously exciting stuff. Once again, as it always is with Apex Online Racing, there is no end to the excitement. After what's felt like the longest summer break, I am so glad to be back here in the comms booth again. Let's see if we can get that lovely camera shot that we've had once before. It's gone. It's gone. Right, never mind. We'll go to the Helicam. It's not necessarily the best camera in the world, but it's what we're going to have to deal with. And we'll have to run through the grid. Right, pole position. Aidan Walsingham, our defending champion. Giardier in second place. Angus Fender in third. Mateo Naldi in fourth place. Michael Thomas in fifth. Joe McLaren in sixth place. Nash Kidashvili in seventh. Josh Waring in eighth. Noel Jorge in ninth place. And rounding out the top 10 is Remy Papin. 11th place is DeLucia. Christian Ranieri in 12th place. Levchenko in 13th. Walter Billen, 14th place. Buzzoff in 15th place. Victor Martin in 16th place. Vinogradov, to apologise, in 17th place. Kumpo in 18th place. Benea in 19th place, and then a name that we have seen a million times before, Kristen Podens in 20th. Right, continuing on down the order. Goodness gracious, it's a big grid this time round. Joe Dorber, 21st place. Verdier in 22nd place. Knudsen in 23rd place. Matt York, good to see Yorkie back here in Tier 1 in 24th place. Rontard in 25th. This is a name I haven't said before. 26th, I believe that is Zoo. Jonathan Clifford, 27th place. Gamov in 28th. Pogi in 29th. Kubaki in 30th place. Good to see Kubaki's name there again. Kaz Lucas, 31st place. Lawrence, 32nd. Savage in 33rd. Chris Vining, 34th. Usalin in 35th. Sandra in 36th place. 37th is Melvin Crows. Craig Law in 38th place. And Fazakas rounding out the grid in 39th place. So many drivers here this evening. It is going to be absolutely fantastic stuff. I can only imagine. I can't wait to get a better look at all the liveries that are here as well this evening. We'll try and have a little bit of a jump down and see what they all look like. We go back slowly through the grid. So if your favourite driver or your team, you're thinking, hang on a second, why can't I see their livery? I'm watching their stream and I know they've got a livery. Well, that's because they haven't sent it to me. So do feel free to pester your favourite drivers and say, oi, send your liveries over, because every season it happens. The beginning of the season is always an absolute mess of liveries. There we go. One of the liveries hasn't worked already, someone is saying. That's Ben Milden. Carnival 95, I believe that is, isn't it? No, it's not. We'll deal with that in a minute. Right, the race is about to begin. As in GT3, we always have a formation lap. It is a full formation lap where everyone will desperately try and get a little bit more heat and warmth into the brakes and into the tyres before we start the race, before they all go thundering down towards turn 1. So one full lap. We'll be straight into it. So this is the first time these drivers have been on track together. This is the first time they get to sort of put the feelers out, see what everyone's like. Some of these drivers, we know them well. We've seen Wolsinger, we've seen Giardier, we've seen Michael Thomas. McLaren we've seen do very, very big stuff. Walter Billen as well, a driver. Buzzoff as well. So many of these drivers we've seen before. But there are some new faces here as well. And obviously more people using the Ford this time round. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all goes. But Aidan Wolsinger wasting no time at all, tears away, trying to get some warmth into his tyres. You can see him running with his foot on the brake and on the throttle, trying to get as much heat soak into the tyres without getting too much graining. It's just one of my absolute favourite things to see. Is all the cars, like a shot like this, you can see all the way back the cars streaming through. As they're all just slowly making their way down the hangar straight. And they're still streaming basically out of turn 1. They're still coming through cops. So many cars out there. It is absolutely insane. And in a brief moment, they're going to be stacked up side by side, giving it absolute death into turn 1. So you can only imagine the absolute insanity. We will do our very best to keep an eye on all of the action. But as we have learned, we're not going to go anywhere near replays on the first lap. Oh, not entirely sure what happened there, but Aidan decided to go for maybe a slight wander. I'm not sure what that was for, but there we go. So it is a full formation lap, so they've still got a fair old way to go at the moment. Just coming through club. We'll jump a bit further back. Oh, there you go. You can suddenly hear one of the cars bursting into life. I can only imagine that is the roaring V8 of a Ford Mustang somewhere. Just a little bit further to go, and you can see everyone actually being pretty sedate with this. There's no sort of mass weaving going on. It seems to be mostly just riding the brakes, trying to get the heat to go into those tyres. Great to see such a mix of cars out there. It is so good to see them all going on. Let's see if we can have a look. There it is, the Bentley. Sandre in the Honkers Bentley. Carnival 802 running in 36th place. It's a fantastic car. It's so good to see that the Bentley, or the Boatley as many people call it, can still be here in Tier 1. It can still be competitive. Right, we're getting pretty close to it now. Cars starting to stack up. People at the back of the grid are going to start absolutely gunning it to catch up with the back of them, as they are still a long, long way back. We get ready to take a big old breath into turn 1. We're jumping onto the drone cam. Follow them through the first couple of corners probably on the drone, and then we will do what we can with the slightly more aesthetically pleasing cameras, but you get a good view of everything going on if you stick with the drone cam for now. So here we go, as they're going to be heading towards the line for the final time at this slow pace, just waiting for the lights to go green. 60 minutes of racing, one mandatory tyre change and no refueling. They're coming towards the line. The lights will go green at any second. It's holding a long, long time. They're nearly going to be at turn one by the time the lights go green. And there we go. Racing underway. And it's a very good start by Jardier. Already trying to go around the outside. Applies the pressure a little bit. Alex Fender as well. Also trying. Sorry, Angus Fender already trying to apply the pressure. I think everyone has made it through turn one reasonably. A couple of cars lagging back a little bit. But nothing too horrendous. Trying to jump back into this mid-pack where it's all starting to kick off. Oh, kind of a 14 we've just seen with the yellow flag. Oh, and a couple of cars back there as well into Maggots and Begets. Oh, quite a few cars actually there we've got on under yellows. I think it's a bit too risky to go back and try and watch it, but the battle just outside the top 5 is very, very hot. Timing board throwing a little bit of a wobbly. I'm not entirely sure that is who is actually leading. No, it is still definitely Aidan Walsingham. Oh, and there's a rotation. Michael Thomas gets a little bit of a clip. And again. Come on, lads. I know this is the first race with you all racing together on the same circuit, sort of with aggression, but you do need to just calm down a little bit. You've got 60 minutes to make it work. Oh, one of the Mustangs gets bumped wide in the background. These two still going absolutely hammer and tongs. The Bentley desperate to get past. He's going to be on the outside, but he might be able to carry a little bit more speed. If he can keep the overlap, that'll be very nice. He can't quite keep it there. We'll quickly jump back up towards our leaders because there is a challenge going on. Jardier, they might be friends off the circuit, but on the circuit, these two are absolutely going for it. Jardier trying to go around the outside, outbraking Aidan. Is he going to have the inside for this final turn? He is going to be there if he can get his nose up the inside. He somehow gets the car to turn in, even though he's on the painted stuff. He does get the car to turn in, leaves Aidan out to dry. And now Fender getting a decent chance to get onto the back of him. A bit like an angry Jack Russell. He is nipping all over the heels of him. And it's going to be a big run down into turn one. As always, chat, do let me know if you notice any problems with the stream. Every once in a while we do get them. It all appears to be fine data-wise on my end, but it is always nice to know that something is going on. So Joe McLaren set the fastest out lap of everybody else. This little pack at the front now just starting to break away. I think it is Nashkadashvili that is that sort of holding on to the back of them. Biding his time, looking for an opportunity. Further back in amongst it, although, you know what, we're going to go back to the helicam because you just get a much better idea of what is going on. Oh, moves going on in the background. And Bentley going off to the inside there at Club. Oh, and that was a big old strike. What on earth happened there? Well, that was certainly something. That was Bowden's. We're going to go back 10 seconds, see if we can spot that. Oh, and it wasn't quite far enough back. Not sure what happened there, but we will keep a very close eye on the live stewarding. Have a bit of a look-see back at that one. I'm sure the stewards will maybe look at what was going on there. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there, but it certainly didn't look like particularly clean racing, and that's not what we expect here in Tier 1. Right, Jardier is now ever so slightly just breaking away from Aidan. Aidan's still holding on to second place. Fender and McLaren, they're having a good old squabble between the two of them. Jumping back in sort of a sea of sort of bronzy browns back here. Sort of the Martin, Kumpo, Dorber, I think Rontard as well, yes. All of them with these sort of muddy colours. They're very nice looking race cars. There's no denying that. But it's just quite funny seeing all of them in one big lump together. They all sort of blend in and just become one big long snake. Right, a little bit further up, Walter Billen having a good old squabble. Oh, what goodness gracious, that's the first visit from the ACC sniper that we've had in a very long time. Oh, kind of at 8:01. Looks like we've just had an off. Was that 8:01? That is Savage. We'll go back and see what we can spot with that one. So on the replay now, what happens here? Is this self-inflicted or... Yes! Just tried to carry that little bit too much speed in. Very well held. Kept it off the circuit. Oh, gets on the brakes. And just about keeps himself out of trouble. Fair play. And a decent rejoin as well. Making sure not to cause any more dramas for anybody else. That was a seriously good save. Sort of props off to Savage for that one. Although those tyres will now probably have the most horrendous flat spots you can possibly imagine. Right, back up to the pointy end. Giardier still leading Walsingham, leads Fender, leads McLaren, leads Naldi, leads Nashkadash-Vili. There's a little squabble going on just outside the top 10. This is the battle for 12th place. Levchenko versus DeLucia. The two Ferraris squabbling between each other. Walter Billen trying to pull away. And there we go, Remy Papin, who's now just at the fastest lap of the race in car number 6. And that is the Bentley of all things. So the Bentley out there really putting in some decent times. It doesn't care that it's old. It is just doing its business. It knows what to do. Nice little squabble going on here. This is the battle for 20th place. I do apologise for the brief break in the commentary there. Turns out my dog led on the TV remote and turned up the world's loudest TV immediately right next to me. So I don't think anyone particularly wanted to hear that in the background. So apologies for the quick break. Hopefully we didn't miss too much there. 20th place battle still raring on as it goes. Quick jump back in. Ada Walsingham has regained first position, so annoyingly, yes, that is what we annoyingly missed. But Giardier absolutely stuck to the back of him. He's not about to give up easy, is he? I think these two might almost come to blows in this race. You can see the way the two different cars work differently, though, where they have their advantages. You can see the way the Aston could just take an absolute monstrous amount of curb. And the Honda just having to be a little bit more conservative with the curb use. Still giving it a fair old run, but there's no point over pushing the car and using too much curb and end up making a mistake. Oh, there we go. Looks like one of the Beach Dean Astons kicking up a bit of dirt in the background there. The battle for third is still 4 cars deep. Still absolutely nose to tail. They are still going for it. But for now, the Veloce Aston Martin, driven by defending champion Aidan Walsingham, does appear to be just about holding onto it. Nashkadash-Vili starting to take the fight towards Naldi. In the background as well, I think. Which one of the Astons is that? Because that is... I think that's Michael Thomas. Yeah, it is Michael Thomas, car number 28. He as well is absolutely wringing the neck out of that thing trying to keep up. Hey, Michael Thomas, certainly not a driver to be sniffed at, a very, very fast driver in his own right. Just because Matt York, I think, has been there basically since the very beginning of when I started streaming for Apex Online Racing. Let's have a quick jump on with Yorkie. And I think the commentator's curse struck. We'll move away from Yorkie. We'll move away because I think we just caused the commentator's curse. See, this is why I don't sim race anymore, because I am the commentator's curse, and so I am continuously cursed to never have a decent race. I always have issues. See, this is normally in a stream where I would say, if there's any particular drivers, you know, put them on the screen. But maybe you don't want me to now. After my immediately saying, let's put one of my favourite drivers on the screen, and then there being an incident. But Your Way Racing, kind of a 707. Marcin Banaya. Really hammering along in 20th place. The fleet of cars still here. Just over 10 minutes of racing is done. Still, there is just nothing between these cars whatsoever. Victor Martin, this is one to keep an eye on. Victor Martin versus Kumpo. Oh no, I think Martin has made his way past Buzzoff, hasn't he? So we'll see if we can jump back and catch that. Are we going to be able to see it? Yeah, side by side. Come on, camera, show it us. There it is. Just outbreaks the Mercedes, gets himself in front. Lovely little move and gets it done before Club. Gets the position locked in, and you can see the way the Ferrari just a little bit more confident on that out of corner acceleration, just managing to roll on the throttle and pull away, and you can now see the way he has opened up the gap. Big old distance beginning to form between those two already. Aiden still being chased down by Jardier. They are very, very similar in their lap times, although technically Walsingham is slightly faster last time round. To be fair though, Angus Fender is actually outlapping the pair of them, and so is Joe McLaren. I think because they are maybe just the other two are squabbling that little bit. Just starting to back themselves up, and they will have to be careful, because if they back themselves up too far, they are going to have an absolute fleet of cars desperate to come whizzing on through and take away a position. They will not need more than one invitation, I'll tell you that. A little squabble still going on further down the grid. Oh, there's actually a move, I think, going on just up ahead. I think that's Kumpo. Yes! Nico Kumpo possibly going to get past now. Can Ranieri hold on to it? He's around the outside. He's going to have the inside as they're coming towards the club chicane. You'd have to be very brave to try and get that. The Mustang does just clip the nose. Don't think it was intentional. I think it was simply a case of just trying to get that massive, absolutely huge, great Mustang just stopped in time. Looking over the rear wing. Here we go. We're going to have a bit of a look now back from the Army Ontario. Car number 7. Christian Ranieri. So, absolutely pushing it. And there you go. You can actually hear, as he's changing gear going through there, you could hear the traction control working its best to try and keep the car from sliding out and going all over the place. Mustang squatting down, getting the power down, and just starting to pull away. Kumpo right behind him there. There is very, very little between these drivers. Continues to fling on down the road. Lovely little bout to keep an eye on though here. Car number 7 is just an absolutely stunning piece of equipment. The closest one's out there, although again we jump back on the car number 707, the Your Way Racing car. Again, they are just still in this mid-pack. Every time we jump back, they are around that 20th position, so they're certainly not losing any ground. Even Some closer battles going on a little bit further back here, though. Moggy versus Crows. And we've got a little move going on in front as well. Looks like Podens has made their way past Vinogradov. Just to sneak the Bentley on through, which will be 28th place. Just waiting for the timing board to sort his life out and actually tell us the positions. I'm amazed how well the cars can just manage to get the cars to change direction through there. It is absolutely astounding. I don't know how on earth they manage to do it. Every time I try and do it, it just all goes completely beat dong. So, very nice to see a bit of a masterclass when it comes to these guys. Right, it's closing up again as they cross the line. Poor Aidan Walsingham. Maybe he was hoping he'd have a bit of an easier season. He was probably thinking, oh, thank God Valentine Barrier's not here this time round. Maybe there's a bit of a chance. Maybe I can get a bit of a whitewash season. But no, Giardier, I think with all the real-life racing experience he's been picking up in European Clios, it certainly has affected his sim racing, and in what can only be described as a very positive way. It's turned him into an absolute demon on the circuit. He was always a very quick gentleman anyway, but now he is a force to be reckoned with. In fact, let's jump onto his dashboard as you see him chasing after the back of Aidan Walsingham. Throws it in, hoping the car will stick. He seems pretty good there through Stowe, down through Vale, head down towards the club chicane. We're going to stick with them for a little bit. Whips it in. Who's more confident on the exit? Looks like Aidan just can roll on throttle and lean on the car that little bit more. Down to Helverton Straight. Full commitment from both drivers and a downshift there through Abbey. And that lost him some serious time compared to Aidan. Aidan obviously a lot more comfortable through there. So now through the loop. Hard on the floor, Aintree towards the Wellington Straight. And I think the gap for the first time has actually opened up significantly. So in regards to the incident that was involved in, in turn one, and there's multiple cars involved in it, and basically they're putting down to a racing incident, too many cars trying to go into the same place. As we always say, 2 into 1 doesn't go, and they're obviously just crowding the road a little bit too much. One of those things. I'm sure there'll be some drivers that'll be disappointed with that call, but that is the way it is. Some you lose, some you win. Nashkidashvili is starting to fall into the hands of Thomas. Some great conversations with this young man, Nashkidashvili. A very determined young racer. All this battle's going on in front as well. Come on, cameras, let's take us to it. I don't know why it always chooses the camera that is furthest away. Fire the cameramen, fire them. Oh, we've had an incident further back. We're going to keep an eye on this one for now, though, because there's a possibly moving to club. Not happening there. There was a yellow flag back there. That's car number 98. We will try and jump back and catch that one. Hang on. That was Lawrence. Go back 30 seconds. So he's off the circuit there at Maggots and Beckett's. Big slide. Then has to sit there and wait. I think it was kind of a case of trying to recover the car, but maybe just couldn't quite get it done as quickly as he wanted to. I mean, the general rule is if you are crashing, it's just jam the brakes on. It might not necessarily be the best for you, but it is the best for your fellow drivers around you if you are predictable. And the best way to be predictable is just hold those brakes. Right, Michael Thomas. Who... Has he got past? No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't quite got past. We've got a bit of a... Let's have a look. So we've got Nashkidashvili running in 6th place. Then we've got Michael Thomas. Is that Remy Papin? It is Remy Papin. For whatever reason, it's a bit strange on my timing screen. But there you go. Still a bit rusty. Even after all these years of commentating for Apex Online Racing, I'm still a little bit rusty from time to time, but I'm sure you can forgive me. Get all my jitters out this evening. Get all the jitters out, and then Tier 2 tomorrow. That'd be absolutely lovely. And speaking of Tier 2, same time tomorrow, 7:30 kickoff. Hopefully, we won't have the technical issues we had today, but there will be more racing Tier 2. This is where a lot of Tier 1 drivers come from, is Tier 2. Oh, that's car number 18. I think we've just seen with a yellow flag. See if we can find I think it was car number 18. It might have blended into the rest of the numbers. Still waiting on my new glasses, so apologies if I do see another number slightly wrong. Ada Walsingham at the beginning, at the start though. At the front of the pack, still leading. Followed by Jardier, followed by Fender. These three are the definite breakaway drivers. Angus Fender is starting to bring the fight back. With 20 minutes of the race done, he is now broken away from everybody else. Oh, bit of a mistake there from Joe McLaren. We just caught it in the background. He's chasing after the back of Naldi, and he went a little bit wide onto the grass. Did manage to recover it and hold on to it, though. So not too much ground lost. Dashkadashvili for Sky Sim Sport. Oh, here we go. Remy Papin versus Thomas. This could possibly be a big dive up the inside. It's a big move on the brakes. Can't quite get it done. The car number 6 just outbrakes himself slightly. Can the door be closed? It's being squeezed. Absolutely side by side. Oh, and there we go. Thomas decides to absolutely bundle it straight into the pits and gets their mandatory pit stop done. So for anyone new here, the mandatory pit stop, you have to change tyres. It is one mandatory stop for tyre change, and there is no refuelling allowed. So the fuel you start on is the fuel you finish with. So if you make a whoopsie, then that's it. You run out of fuel. We've seen it before. Well, yeah, we've seen it with some pretty big names over the years, to be fair. Oh, Chris Vining. He now jumps into the pits as well, and that's a slightly sad-looking Mercedes. That hasn't got the best front end left on it. The car's starting to just spread out now. Oh, there we go. Knudsen picks up a drive-through penalty. That is almost certainly going to be for track limits abuse. Don't think that's been put into place by our stewards. No, I'm having a quick look. Can't see anything to suggest that it's them. Levchenko. God, look at the way the Mercedes slid through the back of the shot there. Goodness gracious, how on earth do they manage to keep that thing in a straight line? Bit of a rarity to get the back wheels of the Mercedes to lose traction through a corner. Normally it's the front ones not really doing a particularly large amount and just sending you flying off into the distance. One of the reasons I finally made a move away from the Mercedes is I just got so fed up of not being able to get the damn thing to turn in. And then went over to the new Ferrari, and yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve, we'll say that. Right, the battle at the front. This is another one that's starting to heat up again. Ada Walsingham still holding on to the lead for now, but Jardier is very much on the attack, and Fender is also starting to sniff around the back of them. His attack is starting to look pretty convincing at the moment. We've got pit stops going on in the background. So the timing board throwing an absolute wobbly as we get these pit stops underway. See a lot of drivers going for the early pits. This is the one to really keep an eye on though, this front end battle. Ada Walsingham still holding off Jardier, still holding off Fender. But let's see if we can get that over the rear wing. There we go. Oh, listen to the great big V8 absolutely singing. Bit of a shame we haven't got any Audis here this evening, because I do love the way the Audi sounds. I mean, yes, it is technically the same engine as in the Lamborghini, but there's just something about the Audi. It just makes it's just, I don't know, in my mind, slightly different for whatever reason. See the way the Jardier really is closing in on the back of Aiden, applying the pressure. Let's have a quick jump up to the old drone cam. You get a bit of an idea. You can just see that Fender maybe not quite as close as he first appeared to be, but everyone's still really pushing pretty hard forward. Nashkadashvili has now jumped into the pit, so he is the first driver sort of right there at the top to come in as well. DeLucia coming in, Buzzoff coming in, Ranieri coming in, everyone reacting to these pit stops around them. At the moment, it has just started to maybe settle slightly. Saying that, look at this one. This is starting to crack off, and you just get an idea of the sheer amount of speed they can carry when you're on this drone shot. This gives you a real sensation of the kind of speeds they're trying to hold together. Lots and lots of cars in the pits. Looking like maybe the Bentley is just going to have the legs over the next part of the lap. Sandre versus Benaya. Sorry, it's probably Banaya. Apologies. This is one of those things. I need to have a good chat with some of the new racers and make sure I'm getting all the names correct. As for many of you at home, this is the first chance I get to see the names, to actually see who is actually going to be in the race, is when they're in the middle of the race, and there's nothing quite as enjoyable as being grossly dyslexic like me and trying to work out the names quickly on the fly. But currently, kind of 802 chasing down 707. Aston Martin versus Bentley. Could there be a more appropriate battle going on? Two British giants battling it out on possibly the most famous British circuit. Although I am going to come out and say it, next week's circuit is far better. It's far better, and I don't care what anyone says. Donington is the best UK circuit by far. Stunning circuit, loads of undulation. It's absolutely fantastic. And there we go. So while the battle was heating up, the battle is now over. Jumping back up to the front briefly, seeing how this is all looking. Let's have a little look. Has happened there to Nashkadashvili? Oh no, he is there. He's in 20th. That's fine. I thought for a little moment I couldn't see him on the timing board. Whoa, Morphy, come on, don't be like that. Donington is an absolutely fantastic British circuit, and it absolutely blows the socks off of Silverstone. There's not even any hills here. Right, let's have a little look and see if there's anything sort of heating up. We've got cars coming out. Ronsard with a drive-through penalty. So that is the Levchenko car, absolutely flying at the moment. We're just seeing someone there, I think it's Hypertech, saying, I wish Thruxton was on ACC. To be fair, I would love to see GT3 cars go around Thruxton in real life. That would be pretty insane. I think it would probably be a death sentence for most of them because there's so little runoff. It's scary enough when the British touring cars are going around there, let alone if you had the GT3 cars absolutely going for it. Oh, bit of a move going on here. Ranieri making moves. He's going to be absolutely trying for it. We're going to jump onto Ranieri and see if we can actually jump on. Here we go, on the dashboard. Chasing after the back of Buzzoff. Oh, and I think there might have been contact there. I think there was contact. Let's jump back 10 seconds. See if we can spot it. Up to the drone cam. What happens here? Yes. Oh, big old shunt. I think there might have been a little bit of the old net code going on there. The big loser there was Levchenko. Got a big old punt and then ended up off the circuit. Let's have a quick jump on with... Still nothing is coming on at the moment. No sort of obvious penalties coming through for anyone. Obviously we've got the Runtard one, which I believe is for track limit offences. Pretty common to see, to be fair. But Ranieri versus Buzzoff is continuing to battle on. Let's jump back onto the front of Ranieri's Armentario Mustang. Really had to get on the brakes significantly more there, didn't he, than Buzzoff. Takes a load of curb there, but I think it's slowed him on the exit, possibly. I know why you're scared of hills, Morphy. It's because of that slight downhill at Kota. And it was at the end of, I think it was at the end of the big long straight that's slightly downhill, and I think there was a slight moment where it was racing in the dark, and I think you might have slightly missed your braking zone. I seem to remember. I think it was one of the endurance races you were racing in one time. Oh, there we go. Right, so it's all changed up the front. Aidan Walsingham, Jardier into the pits. So is kind of at 802 of Sandri. So now the current leader is Angus Fender. He's been sat in third place for nearly the entire race, has managed to get himself up into first for now. Michael Thomas setting the fastest lap at the moment. Aidan has come out of the pits in front of Jardier and is just about holding on to it for now. Going to be interesting to see how this works and how long Fender is going to go before having to wait. And, well, sorry, so having to get his pit stop done. So Walsingham's come out reasonably in front. Just wait for the timing board to sort itself out that little bit. Here we go. Buzzoff versus Ranieri, I think, is kicking off. Waiting for the camera. There we go. Buzzoff just holding on to the position, but Ranieri is all over the back of him, sticking to him like a cheap suit. Two monstrous, great front engine rear wheel drive cars. Obviously got the fresh-faced Mustang versus the sort of the elder statesman of the sport, really. That in the Mercedes AMG. It sort of really, it has been around a very long time now. Yes, obviously this isn't technically the original one that came with the game. This is obviously the 2020 model, but when you think about it, that's 4 years ago, and it's still a competitive car. Right, let's have a quick look through. Let's try and find... There we go. 21st place, car number 214. I Want a Barbecue Racing. What an absolutely fantastic name that is. Brilliant. I like that a lot. I Want a Barbecue Racing. So running in 21st place at the moment. Got just about a second's worth of a gap back to Christophe Sandre. Oh, the timing board can't decide whether he's in 22nd or 21st at the moment. One side of the screen says 21, the other side says 22. I'm going to go with 21, that's what it says on my external timing screen. But it's flicking between 21 and 22. I have no idea why. Oh, here we go. Penalties starting to come through. Okay. So this is lap 1, 5-second penalty for car number 226 and 1 licence point. Car number 226 for causing a mineable avoidable collision, and that is Craig Law, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. His race already wasn't going fantastically down in 30th place, but he'll probably be a little bit annoyed about that. That is Craig Law. Sector Blitz Racing. SBR. Again, very nice team. Done plenty of conversations with these guys before. Always very grateful whenever we manage to sort anything out. Usually livery related. Let's be honest. That's what most conversations with me and racers ends up being. It is always livery related. A 5-second penalty. That is a big old amount of time to lose. That is going to see them lose some positions for sure. Kristen Podence. There we go. G-Liga Esports. I haven't put them on the screen, I don't think, yet this evening. Car number 69. Nice. Currently chasing after the back of Vinogradov. It seems only right that the car with the meme number on the side is chasing after the F1 memes cars. Oh, there we go. Just seeing Ben Milden from Sector Blitz Racing, after I was saying to them that usually the conversations are about liveries, saying that they're noobs. Yeah, don't worry about it, because nearly every season the top boys, the very, very top boys, who you would think would be very much on top of it, I'm not going to say any names at all, Aidan Walsingham and Jardier. The pair of them are the worst for giving me liveries. I literally have to pester them for weeks on end, and I only have Aidan's this time round, because I've got all of their bloody liveries just on my computer. I've actually purposely went out of my way and got them again since I replaced my hard drives. Oh, drive-through penalty there for Oselin. That's a bit of a sting in the tail, that one. Oh, here we go. This is starting to heat up now. Podence trying to go for a bit of a switchback. Can he get it done? Very wide on entry, trying to get the run. It hasn't worked for him this time round, though. The GTR is absolutely no slouch in a straight line, and while these two are squabbling, this is the opportunity for car number 214 to slowly catch up. There's a bit of a gap there, but it is doable. But there we go. Yeah, look, that is. Oh, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas with a drive-through penalty. What a way to put a damper on that race. He was doing absolutely fantastically, and Michael Thomas, although we have seen him absolutely wringing the neck out of the Aston Martin all night long, it has now ended up being a drive-through penalty. So after holding off Nashvili, Papin, McLaren and Waring, all that work is completely undone, and he's now going to have to do a full drive-through of the pits, and that is an absolute death sentence. It does take such an incredibly long time to get that kind of thing done. All he can really do is just hope he comes out in some reasonably clean air and then he can get back on the power. But it's going to be very interesting to see how far he drops down. Meanwhile, Nashvili absolutely holding on for dear life at the moment, with Remy Papin and McLaren right behind him. Car number 470 currently just about holding off the madness that is behind, but you can see his entire rear view is absolutely full of Bentley. He's got Bentley to the left. He's got Ferrari to the right. Whichever way he looks, he's got two very, very strong drivers right up the back of him. Happy to go defensive. He moves across to the side of the circuit, already trying to keep himself in a safe spot. Can he do anything? He does go defensive. Bentley has a little look to the inside. Papin not quite able to make anything happen there. So for the moment, Thomas is staying out, not doing any kind of pit stop. Right, here we go. Penalties again now coming in. Oh my goodness gracious. So this is all lap 1 related stuff. Right, here we go. Steward's Deem, initial contact from being lag/netcode related. So that's what we were saying about earlier on, that sort of weird rubber banding that you sometimes see in sim racing. Cars number 23 and 882 received 20-second penalties and 2 licence points each for not holding the brakes and or rejoining the track in a dangerous manner. Oof, that's yeah, that's fairly savage. But there we go, 2 20-second penalties. They're going to be on the board. That is kind of a 23 and kind of an 882. So 23 and 882. Let's see if we can find those numbers. Car number 23 is, there we go. So that's Gamov and Verdier. The pair of them still racing together. Yeah, with the penalties that big, that is definitely going to see them all the way to the back of the grid. There we go, Nashkadashvili, he's really under attack, and it looks like actually on merit alone he's going to try and get past. We've got Ferrari in the background as well, trying to make moves. He's going to try to go around the outside, try and box out the Bentley. Yes, and now the Bentley of Papin drops back. Joe McLaren in the Ferrari, not confusing at all. He has managed to gain a position. I think we just saw Thomas dip off to... Yes, we did. Thomas is dipping into the pits now, so he'll be desperate to try and get this done. He jumps into the pits. Whereabouts is he going to come out? Nashkadashvili, now with nobody in front. What can he do? Can he try and stretch away from Joe McLaren? It's going to be super, super close. I mean, there we go. Actually, I think we can just hear one of the... one of the Lamborghinis in the background we just heard screaming away. That lovely V10 engine. Let's have a little bit of a look over that rear wing. Joe McLaren just about holding onto the back of him. Remy Papin as well, trying to stretch the overall grunt that Bentley has. Now coming down towards Club. Can anything happen here? Looks to the outside. Joe McLaren doesn't get the overlap. I thought we were going to see a bit of a switchback. Can he do it here? He's going to have a much deeper line in. He's going to try and get all around the outside. Surely that is never going to work. That is brave stuff. The two cars almost snap together there. And all while this is going on, Josh Waring is definitely starting to reel in this pack of cars. Nashkadashvili, I hate to say it, may be becoming a bit of a cork in a bottle. Just over 16 minutes of racing left to go. So 44 minutes of racing is now done. And these three have pretty much been together the entire race. Oh, a little bit of a wobble going on there, it would seem, from Nashkadashvili. Hopefully they're nothing too mad if you're looking on from anybody else. Now let's jump on. Can we do it? Yes, there we go. On the dashboard of Papin's Bentley, looking forward at these two in front. He now finds himself very much being chased down by Josh Waring, though. Oh, the gap in the front has suddenly come down to absolutely nothing. We need to jump on board with that one quickly. It was suddenly down to 0.1, so that was it was pretty close. And it's looking like the battle for third place might be starting to kick off a little bit as well. Still a bit of a gap there, but Naldi certainly has not dropped away. Back to the Nashvili battle, and very much a case that Josh Waring is now right onto the back of them. Hopefully the camera will finally change when we get up into the braking zone. It does finally change. One of those awkward spots on the track where there isn't really a nice camera angle for it, but through club, again, absolutely nose to tail. You could not get a piece of paper between them cars, could you? They are so close at the moment, and it's a decent run out of here for Joe McLaren. He's going to have to be very, very brave and try and do something here under braking. Can he do anything? Throws the car in, takes an absolute monstrous amount of inside curb, trying to get the car to turn in. It's not quite enough. He has to go defensive. A little bit of a look to the inside as well, maybe himself, sort of trying to balance this defensive and attacking drive between the two. Almost gets into the back of Ashvili then. Joe McLaren just about holding on to the position, but I wonder how much of his pace was compromised then. He moves over to the left a little bit. The Bentley now diving back and forth. Bentley now has the inside. This is going to be Papin. Looks for the braking zone. Does get the overlap. He rubs with the Ferrari. The Ferrari's going to be to the inside. Somehow it gets it stopped. He tried to do a little bit of a switchback there to Papin. It hasn't quite worked. I just think the sort of the nimbility of that Ferrari just meant that the Bentley could not get the switchback that he was maybe looking for. Desperate to try and get the change, but it just isn't quite happening. All the while, these guys are slowing themselves down, and car number 34, Josh Waring, is very much up in the game now. He will be looking to try and take as many positions as he can if those two are going to be continuing to squabble the way they are. Right, little battles going on further back. Buzz off versus Martin. Bit of an overlap now. Can anything be done? It's going to have to be very brave here. See now, just about to come out of the straight. This is where the Mercedes will be able to really open itself up, get the taps flowing. Battle continuing on. Buzzoff versus Martin. Sector Blitz Racing. Car number 95. So trying to keep an eye on all the battles at once. It's a lovely task, trying to keep an eye on all of it at once. So here we go, back to this one. Nashvili still leading Joe McLaren and still leading Remy Papin. Josh Waring is just sort of around the back of them, looking to try and take advantage. We're going to go up to the drone cam, I think, for this one. Get the widest angle we possibly can. Not overly defensive this time round for many of them. Oh, goodness gracious, how on earth did the Bentley get itself stopped then? I have no idea. I thought it was just going to absolutely spear through the Ferrari. Decent exit there, though, from Joe McLaren. It looked like he might have been able to do it. You can see there's a little bit of rubber banding between them. Another thing coming in here. So incident between car number 70 and car 777, lap 10. Bit of a driving standards warning for both drivers there. Don't think the stewards were overly happy with anyone's driving in that situation, but no point penalising both of them, so it's easier just to penalise neither of them. Just having a bit of a scroll back through to see if there's any other little battles coming on. The drone cam doing absolutely fantastic work of showing you all four of these cars battling it out for 5th place. See, the main battles don't just have to be on the podium. This is just outside the podium, and they are absolutely going for it. A lot of bragging rights as well. Opening race of the season is what you want. You want to start your season with an absolute bang. See what you can do. Show everyone else how much you've been practicing in the off-season. How you've improved. Secrets you've learned. And there was a mistake there, though, and Joe McLaren loses the position. He's out of the grass again. We saw him there earlier on, and oh no, he just couldn't get the car stopped. He was on the grass, could not get the car stopped in that situation. Oh, that is... Well, okay. That was what can only be described as pretty ridiculous. Well, Remy Papin, you certainly know better than that, sir. That was, yes, that was certainly something. That will almost certainly be looked at by the stewards. I'm not going to say anything more than that. But sadly, that is the end to what was an absolutely fantastic battle. Hopefully, none of the drivers are carrying too much damage. I'm trying to see now Josh Waring, who really was completely innocent in all of that and was just trying to take advantage of the crash going on in front of him. Ended up being the one that really lost out on that one, so a bit of a shame. In fact, no, not a bit of a shame. That was a real shame. Yeah, yeah, not sure what was going on there, but there we go. Let's have a little bit of a look. Fazekas and Kaz Lucas. Nice little battle here. This is the battle for 24th position. Let's jump back down a bit closer to the circuit. In fact, no, you know what we're going to do? It's one of my favourite sounding cars. Let's jump on board. There we go. Let's deafen everybody at home with absolutely ridiculous amounts of V10 screaminess. Car number 4 running in 24th place at the moment. It's got Kaz Lucas in the 747 BMW. That makes sense. It is about the size of a Boeing 747, that car. Monstrous great thing. Over the rear wing, I think it actually might be Kaz Lucas who is under attack from Boggy. Lovely looking car, that Roa Racing livery. And it is kind of a 60 looking very, very racy here. He's going to have a little bit of an overlap. Going to be on the outside or maybe going to try and go for a bit of a switchback. Can he get it done? Road's going to go away from him again here unless he can really get the switchback. It's going to be fairly easy to defend. And yes, there we go. Kaz Lucas had the car in the right place at just the right time, managed to shut down the race. Pretty sure that's the M4. Don't think that's an M6. I mean, feel free for someone to tell me. I'm pretty sure it's the M4 because just look how massive the nostrils are on it. Okay, more incidents coming through. So, involving car number 23, car number 233, and car number 524 on lap 10. 5-second penalty for car number 233, and a 5-second penalty for car number 23. Car number 23 receives a 5-second penalty for causing contacts at the apex of the turn. And car number 233 gets it for the rejoin. And then another one here, cars number 11 and 95 on lap 15. 1 licence point and 15-second penalty for car number 95 for causing a avoidable collision. So even the top boys still mess around a little bit. I have always said it. I truly believe that Tier 2 are slightly cleaner racers than Tier 1. Although saying that, if anyone saw Hungaroring last season, don't quote me on that, but here we go. Move into turn 1 possibly here. Giardier on the attack. He knows he only has just over 5.5 minutes to try and get the job done. That's sort of maybe 3 laps worth. Has he been holding on to his tyres? He is really starting to battle the back of Aiden. He wants to start his season on an absolute high. He wants to try and get that pole position straight away. Aiden is going to be desperate to try and hold on to it as well. Towards the end of last season, every point mattered. Angus Fender And to be fair, so is Naldi, have kind of found themselves in a bit of no man's land this race. They've sort of just been in that perfect position where there's no one right in front of them to really battle with constantly, and there's no one behind them to really threaten them too hard. So they've kind of just been in the middle somewhere. But Jards is now starting to apply the pressure once again to Aiden. He had the fastest lap of the race last time round. Quick jump on board actually with Michael Thomas, who obviously is recovering after that drive-through penalty. Finds himself down in 18th place, but to be fair, that's not too bad. That could have been a lot worse. Squad was going on a little bit further up again. This is the battle for 12th position. Got Martin right on the back of DeLucia. Again, Ferrari versus Ferrari. Two, well, obviously insanely similar cars. All of it comes down to driver and car setup. Who feels more comfortable? Who's faster where? Back to the front again. Jardier still very much on the assault, chasing after the back of Aiden. Again, he's still just about outlapping him. Back looking at it, Jards is the only one to get into the 156s since the pit stops. A bit minutes left to go. Jardier still on the back of him. I know as soon as we cut away, that is almost certainly when the battle is going to happen. But here we go. Here's one that is in the middle of going on right now. Martin trying to go down the inside. Couldn't quite get it done. And going into Magus and Beckett's side by side is very, very brave. Mini Simeon, it is so good to see you back. Thank you ever so much for joining us again, mate. I think for God knows how many seasons now, you always appear in the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 chat, and it is great to see you back again here. But yes, you are a little bit late this time round. Got to say, you know, marking you down for lateness. So you will have to watch back on the VOD. You will have to watch us back, and you'll be pleased to know this is all going to be available to watch back, however you feel free on YouTube. It'll all be here on the Apex Online Racing channel. I will make a lovely little playlist for you as well. We'll put it all in one nice little tight space. All the Tier 1 and all the Tier 2 racing. But if you want a lot more live racing, goodness gracious, if you want more live racing and you haven't had enough this evening with just about 58 minutes of racing done, then you can tune in tomorrow, same time, same place for Tier 2, the rising stars of Apex Online Racing, as I like to call them. Still battles going on here. We need to still keep a little bit of an eye on the battle at the front as well, because they are now side by side. The gloves of... Oh! And there was a mistake there from both of them, to be fair. I kind of want to go back and try and see it, but goodness gracious me. It is all getting a little bit close. And look, they've been battling so much that Angus Fender has had an opportunity to absolutely close up on them. Not that long ago, I was saying it was a bit of a shame because... Fender was, you know, way back from them for a little while and wasn't able to bring the attack to them. But this is going to be their penultimate lap. It's going to be this one and one more, I would say. But obviously Jardier is absolutely... He has thrown the gloves off. He is ready for war. The pair of them are absolutely going for it. Again, you can see the way they just get their car to change direction. I just don't know how they do it. I need the secrets. Again, this is the kind of thing I think we are now seeing this sort of, let's say, this is Jardier Evo, I think. This is Jardier Evo. This is him. He's done a bunch of real-life racing. He now sort of, you know, in sim racing, people are quite gentlemanly. Big move to the inside under brakes. Aiden's going to have the inside again, though, for the final turn. And Jards is slightly blocked out. That's going to do really badly for him because now Angus Fender, apologies, has the opportunity to put his nose up the inside. Doesn't go for it. The time's gone to 0, so this should be it. I think this is just going to be the end of the race, or is there still one more to go? No, that is it. Aiden Walsingham just about holds onto it to the line. The 3 top drivers absolutely ridiculously close. Let's jump back a little bit further and keep an eye on some battles that are still going on. I'm sure we are going to be able to have a good old chinwag with those gentlemen in just a minute or two. But goodness gracious, that could not have been closer all the way to the line, could it? Those 3 absolutely squabbling out. I thought we were maybe going to get one more lap out of it, and I dread to think how the race would have gone if they managed to get one more lap. There we go, DeLucia coming across the line in 12th place, holds off Victor Martin, who also holds off Buzov. Oh, bit of contact after the race. To be fair, don't think anyone was expecting DeLucia to stop there at the inside of that corner. Michael Thomas comes across the line in 18th place. That is not going to be the start to the season that he would have wanted. Pretty much everyone coming across the line now. A few people left to go. That was possibly one of the closest races we have seen in a very long time, it has to be said. That was fairly ridiculous. Hopefully we can get some podium chats with our top 3 drivers. But the main thing to say is Aiden Walsingham for Veloce comes out absolutely swinging in race 1. And to be fair, let's be honest, Charles was no slouch either. But yeah, that was some big stuff. That was some big stuff from those boys. Right, hopefully we can get some people in for a nice little chinwag. And we can go from there, which would be very nice. It would be nice if we get to speak to some people, wouldn't it? I mean, we love a bit of chatting. Right, let's have a bit of a change round. Just realised I deafened absolutely everyone with the music. Apologies about that one. Didn't mean to actually... you know, completely deafen every human being on the earth. But here we are. Sometimes it happens. Hopefully we can get them in the chat. But we've moved across to here because it's just a little bit nicer to look at as opposed to the raw footage of the thing. But let's have a quick run through the timetables as they came across the line. So pole position was Aiden Walsingham. Second place was Giardia. Third place, Fender. Then we have Naldi in 4th, Nashkadashvili in 5th, Remy Papin 6th, Joe McLaren 7th, Ultabillin 8th, Waring in 9th, Ranieri 10th, Levinchenko in 11th, DeLucia in 12th, Martin in 13th, Kumpo 14th, 15th was Dorba, Hey, I do apologise. I need to work out the pronunciation of that one. In 16th place, Michael Thomas 17th. Podence 18th. Another name I need to have a good old chat with. Car number 214 of Sue. Again, going to have to chat. I saw some people in the chat saying about it, so I will do my best to relearn that one. That came across the line in 19th place. Sandre in 20th. Fazakas 21st. Benaya in 22nd. Buzzov 23rd. Kaz Lucas 24th. Bogey 25th. 26th, Vinogradov. Matt York down in 27th place. Jonathan Clifford 28th. Lawrence in 29th. Crows in 30th place. Rontard 31st. Law in 32nd. Savage 33rd. Vining 34th. Gamov 35th. Auselin in 26th. Verdio 37th. Knudsen in 38th. And Kabaki 39th. Big old breath. Goodness gracious. There is just so many of them. It's just so many of them to get through these days. It is absolutely insane. Right, hopefully we might have some people willing to have a chat. Yes, we do. We've got all of them. Right, let's get our leader in first. Aiden Walsingham. Good Lord. What a start to your season, sir.
Yeah, not bad, eh? That was a lot of fun.
Hang on, you're coming through incredibly quietly. Let's sort that out. Why on earth?
Oh, yeah, my microphone's been a bit dodgy as of late, so...
Okay, I'm trying to boost you as much as possible, but sorry anyone at home that is struggling to hear Aiden. You will just have to imagine What are you saying?
I can boost more. I can go up more.
Oh no! Apparently, you're going out at a decent volume. You're just very quiet in my ears for some reason. But no, for everyone at
Okay.
home, you should be very loud for everyone at home now. But that's fine.
Okay.
Aiden, what a
Cool.
start to the season, mate.
Yeah. Like I said, it was pretty good. Pretty good start. A lot of fun. Really, really, honestly, probably one of the best battles I've had in ACC ever with Jard. That race. That was yeah. I was a little
Yeah,
bit lost for words. It was so clean and just so challenging the whole time. There's so much pressure. Just him sat within 3/10 the entire race, basically.
have you noticed a difference in racing against Jardier since he's been doing real life racing, obviously in the Clios? Because I think I've heard a couple of people say that when they watch his streams, he looks a bit more sort of pointy and aggressive in his driving. But have you noticed a difference? Because obviously you do loads of racing, sort of either with him or against him, sort of, and you tend to be in the same part of the field as him. So have you noticed a change?
I made a joke earlier about it that like now he's driven Clio Cup, he's happier to bang doors. But honestly, that is the cleanest fight I've probably ever had in ACC, and I don't think he's changed at all. Um, he always drives by the rule book as best he can. But in the real world, obviously, he's going to have to drive by how the real boys drive in Clio Cup, which is not quite so politely. But
No, it's like
no, I don't think
psychopaths.
he's changed. Yeah, pretty much. Happy to take chunks out of each other in every corner.
Oh, pretty much. We need to get him British touring cars, don't we? We need to like sort of try and get him into the BTCC. That would be very nice to see. Jards, even if he only got to do it the one time or something, it'd be very nice to see him absolutely hooning around with some of the British circuits. Obviously, you came into this the defending championship, the defending champion this time round. There was obviously there's a few names that are missing again this time round. So your main rival from last time round, Barrier, obviously isn't here. But there was some seriously quick boys out there today. There are some lads that in the off season have certainly gained some more pace. Is there anyone outside of Jards? Because we know he's a quick lad anyway. Is there anyone out there in the field that you were sort of a bit surprised by their pace, or even if it was their qualifying, that you're maybe a bit nervous about going forward in the season?
Well, I don't know about nervous, but Angus has absolutely stepped it up a bit. He was on pace in qualifying, and just I think he had some contact with whoever was running fourth place. I think it was McLaren. I think they had a little scrap, but if not for that, he would have been sat on mine and Jard's bumper the whole race. I think. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, Angus is definitely one to watch.
he definitely caught up with you two when you were squabbling over that last lap. There was a little moment where I thought, in
Yes.
all honesty, you guys might end up sort of in second and third, and Angus was going to come flying on through. It got a little bit a little bit close to call for a moment, and I sort of completely burnt my voice out in the last sort of like 20 minutes of this race. But it's been absolutely fantastic to have you back. It's obviously, absolutely great that you're still here and defending your championship again. Donington next time round. How are you feeling about the car at Donny?
Very good. Yeah, I love it. Driven the combo recently, so fresh in my mind. Um, yeah, looking forward to it. It's a lovely combo. So,
Nice. And it's the first time I've ever had the opportunity to commentate a full race for AOR at Donington. I have never been able to do it. I have either been away or I have had the plague or something. I've never been able to. So next week, this is going to be a guarantee from me. I will be here, even if for some reason I'm like missing an arm. I will definitely be here, just holding the wound together because I'm desperate to be able to do it, and it's going to be amazing. If anything like today's racing is gone, I can only imagine what it's going to be like when you two start squabbling at Donny. It's going to be a good laugh.
just save your energy for the first corner because that's always carnage at Donington.
Oh, I see that. Also, the old hairpin in it at the bottom of the crane of curves. I know it's just going to be. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for something to happen there. But never mind. We'll be positive. We'll be positive about it. Aiden, thank you ever so much for joining me, mate. I've got Angus and I've got Giardier waiting to have a chin wag, so I won't deny them too much longer. Thank you ever so much for jumping in with us, mate. And maybe we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Catch you
Yeah.
then. Take care.
No worries, Aiden. Cheers.
Bye bye.
Right, let's get our next person in. Can he hear us? Can Jards hear us?
Oh, hello, hello.
There he is. Hey, goodness gracious. Put on a bit of a squabble toward the end of that one.
What a race, right? What a race.
It was
Oh.
every time we cut away from you two, it was like, all right, they've just started. They're about half a second apart. Let's just, we'll look at some other people. And then suddenly, I just noticed that it was 0-0, the gap between you. And I jumped back, and one of you would be half off the circuit. I mean, I'm going to come out and say it though. That overtake in the beginning of the race, where you got into first place for a little while, how on earth did you get the Honda stopped on that
Yeah,
inside
that was.
curb? It was insane. Like
I don't know.
we are going to have to check your files because there was grip hacks. There was hashtag grip hacks going on there. That was that was some serious stuff. I think it was. I had no idea how you got it stopped. It was I have expected you to be cocking a back wheel like a Clio and throwing it through for just a minute or two there, like using the inside curb sort of thing. But I mean, just a moment ago, obviously, Aidan was absolutely singing your praises, saying that was one of the best battles he's ever had in a GT3 car. So, I mean, how was it from your perspective? Obviously, sadly, looking at the back end of his car for quite a long time.
No, it was the same, man. Like he was, Aiden was doing like it's like a textbook defense, you know. Like he was defending really smart. He was understanding the differences between cars, you know. Like it's very important to understand like what the Honda has advantage, what the Aston has advantage, and he was using like everything in the book, you know. He was perfectly holding the apexes, so I could not like cross over and stuff like that. You know, it was just fantastic. Like mega fight. Like I had a really good battles, but this one was like full 1 hour incredible, amazing battle with Aiden. Like if I would have a head, like I can put it down because that was like amazing, absolutely amazing from Aiden, amazing. And then like the pressure he held was ridiculous because we were so close so many times and from the left side, right side, you know, and he's just like he didn't crack, you know, he didn't do any mistakes, so it was amazing, amazing drive, amazing performance.
The only time I thought where you guys possibly weren't going to be first and second was pretty much that last lap. There was, I think, a little bit of a coming together between you two, and you both lost quite a bit of pace. And suddenly, Angus Fender was just right there on the back of you, and it was a case of, hang on, these two are going to have to go defensive in a minute. Like they're both going to have to suddenly put the elbows out, because otherwise Angus is going to come winging on through. I mean, his pace was absolutely fantastic as well. And I mean, I'm sure you were probably looking at your delta times and looking at the gap between you, especially in that last sort of 5 minutes of the race, and just like, obviously you two were slowing each other down, but goodness gracious, his pace as well. Were you starting to feel that pressure from behind towards the end of the race?
Yeah, like I noticed at the beginning of the race, like Angus was like flying, right? Like at the beginning of the race. So at one point I started like being more like watching the tires and trying to pull away from him with Aiden. But then Aiden in the end of the first thing, he was probably struggling a bit on the tires. So Angus, like we were like fighting a bit and he caught up. And then in the second stint, like yeah, we pull away from him, and I was just trying to like I was really hoping we will make such a gap that we can fight like properly in the last lap. But yeah, he was brilliant. His pace was mega, and as you said, like I knew that I have to fight now with Aiden, and more corners we got to do side by side. The more risk there is, I will have to abandon it and defend from Angus. And basically, the last lap that happened. So it was amazing, man. Like one of the best races in a long time.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely put on a fantastic show, especially opening round of season 17. What an absolutely fantastic opening round for us. Obviously, it's Donington next time around. Aidan's feeling pretty confident about his car track setup there. Have you got any recent experience there, or are you sort of a bit of a new one? Because you're obviously in the Honda this time round, which is a bit of a change from last season.
Yeah, we did a rain race now there, so I would say yeah, I feel confident for Donington. I always been quite okay there, and Honda is really brilliant in the last sector. I think especially compared to Aston, it's gonna be even stronger there. So it's gonna be probably very similar as here in Silverstone in the last sector, you know, where maybe in the first sector Aiden will be pulling away a bit, but in like after the chicane and both hairpins, the Honda will be brilliant, you know. So I'm very curious because we did a last week there race in a rain, and I finished ahead of Aiden. So let's see what we can do next week.
Got to do it two in a row. Got to try and do it two in a row. Jardier, as always, mate, it's an absolute pleasure to have you in the booth. It is always a fantastic opportunity to have a chinwag with you. I have got to get to Angus, though, because he has been waiting so patiently to come on in. So I'm going to hope, well, might see you next week. Maybe you might be interviewed before Aidan. Who knows? It'll be the battle to the death next time round. But thank you.
That's the target. That's the target.
Doesn't matter whether you're in
Thank
like
you.
literally last place, as long as you're in front of Aidan. That's all that matters next time.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. See you next week. Come on, let's get Angus in. Angus Fender, what a race that was from you, sir.
Yeah, it wasn't half bad. I probably enjoyed watching the race in front of me more than I enjoyed my own actual race. In fact, hats off to those two guys. That was pretty spectacular. Yeah, from my side of things, in all honesty, I wasn't expecting to be able to race today. I should have been out in Spain coaching some young racing drivers for the Miami World Karting Finals, which was meant to take place in Valencia. And as we all know, Valencia's been hit by these horrible floods. So the meeting's been postponed for 3 weeks. My thoughts go out to everyone in Valencia. But the side effect of that is that I am now around. So I decided to use my time constructively and decided to do a bit of AOR, which I haven't done in around, probably 6 or 7 seasons now. And yeah, not a bad way to start. I think the speed in the quali and stint one was good. I was keeping up with Aidan and Jardier in front, which was always nice, because you know they're both top performers on this platform. Second stint wasn't as great, didn't get the tyres to work, but their battling kind of let me back into the picture at the last lap, but just 1 lap too short, I suppose, really.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, from my position in the booth, I thought we had another lap in it, and it was suddenly only when they were coming through the final turn, I was like, oh my God, it's gone to 0. I thought we were going to just about make it to the line. But I will say, to your credit, both Jardier and Aidan, they have both sung your praises, and they were saying that they were well impressed with the pace that you had. And Jardier, multiple times, was saying that at one point he sort of almost stopped attacking the back of Aidan and was just concentrating on keeping his tyres alive so he could keep you behind him. So I think you could be a bit of a dark horse, you know, coming back in this season. So, you know, going for it. I mean, your pace was great. I mean, you very nearly ended up in first place on that last lap with everyone squabbling around in front of you. But like you said, you were watching that race in front for a little while. You were being chased down by the Mustang. I can't remember who was in that Mustang, but one of them got a little bit close to you, sort of in that second stint. But then you sort of managed to break away again, and sort of, as you said, a bit of your own race. But you just did a textbook finish. You bagged a load of points. Third place is nothing to be sniffed at all, especially this early in the season. Every point matters.
Yeah, I suppose so. It comes down to how many races I'm able to do with my work running 2 jobs. The race tutoring, 3 jobs actually. The race tutoring in karting, the in-car stuff tutoring in cars at Brands Hatch and Donington, and then the car sales stuff I do, which actually is my main sponsor on the car, I suppose, Fender Pro Classic Cars. I know where to place my logos, but yeah, we'll see how many rounds I'm able to do. It was fun to be able to do tonight, and it's also nice to know, and I'm very flattered by Aidan and Jardier and their compliments, and they don't need me to tell them that they're quick. I think they know that already.
I think they've probably got
it was nice to be able to keep
subscribers.
them. Yeah, it was nice to be able to keep them in touching distance at least. So hopefully building blocks to move on from, but it was fun, at least for tonight.
You were just quickly saying then about sponsorships on the cars. I'm not entirely sure that I have your custom livery then.
No, it was in the livery pack.
Is it green? Is it green?
It's very green with
It's very green.
like a black spirally pattern on it and Fender Broad on the side. So I'm not sure if you have the livery. It is in the livery pack, but
I think I did have that. I remember seeing it in pre-race checking, but for some reason your car didn't look quite right. But I have had some issues with liveries this evening, and I don't know what had gone on there. I will double check.
The server restarts, perhaps.
Yeah, quite possibly, because there were some right old wobbles going on there. So it happens though in real life racing as well. It does happen. Yeah, I mean, just to quickly go back to what you said. Obviously, yeah, everyone here at AOR, massive condolences to everyone, you know, that was involved in or in any way affected by the flash flooding. It is, you know, it's been pretty horrendous out there. So yeah, it's got to be said. You know, everyone here at AOR, you know, fully respects and understands that, you know, lots of people have had to change a lot of things in their lives recently, and it's not very nice. But we're not going to end too much on a down note. We will try and be good about it all. But yes, I will have a double check and make sure the liveries are all working on my end. All I can say is to anyone that is still listening and thinking my best driver's livery wasn't there, make sure they've re-downloaded the pack themselves and they're using that livery, because you can't use your original one because it changes when it gets put into the pack, which might be why yours didn't work, Angus.
Well, if you're still in the server, I'm not sure if you are. I'm still in it. And this is the livery I used in the livery pack. And I saw on the stream, I just loaded up my browser and saw that, it hadn't loaded in for the race, which is a shame. But if it didn't load, I'll try and tweak it around, or maybe I used the wrong file. I'm not sure, but figure it out for the next one,
For some reason, you are currently just showing up as a bright lime green car, but I have definitely...
Well, I'm the Kermit Honda. There we go.
There you go, the Kermit Honda. There we go, Kermit Honda. We'll go for that one. Yes, but for me, but we'll have a fiddle. It's always like this in race one. Everything's always a little bit Pete Tong, a little bit wibbly wobbly. But we'll get it all sorted for next time round. Speaking of next time round, I think we probably ought to call this one a day. It's been absolutely fantastic to talk with you, Angus. So hopefully we get to see you a bit more this season, even if it is just to pop in from time to time and shake things up and get the fast boys to sort of wince a little bit when they see your times. It'd be very nice. But so any final words before we call it a night, mate?
Just thanks for having me back, I suppose. It's been great fun on short notice. I've had a blast. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more in the future. AOR has always been something that's clashed for me. So now hopefully I have a bit more free time to commit to it. I'd love to get a full campaign in, but yeah, like you say, maybe just try and keep the pressure on some certain people. But for now, I'm just happy to be here, really.
Fantastic, and we're happy to have you back, Angus. So thank you ever so much. We're going to call it a night now, everybody. Angus, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Cheers, Tim.
Right, and that is us done for the opening round of Season 17. Goodness gracious, it feels insane to say that. But yeah, that was Tier 1, Tier 2 tomorrow, same time, same place. Do feel free to join and jump in with us. If you've enjoyed what you have seen this evening, maybe consider joining our Patreon. Everything is available in the description below this video. It will be put up afterwards as well, so you can get to watch it as many times as you want. And you can also have a good old look at all the liveries and be like, God damn, why are none of the liveries working? And you know what? I don't know why they're not working, but we will see what they go and do stuff. So yeah, thank you ever so much for joining us this evening, and we will see you tomorrow, 7:30.